Before you scroll, before your thumb moves, listen to this for just a moment. Somewhere in this story, there is a truth that might change how you see kindness forever. This is not about money, fame, or power. This is about a choice made in silence by someone the world had already forgotten. A choice that proved one simple thing. Even the smallest act of compassion can echo louder than 1,000 words. And once you hear this, you may never look at life the same way again. This video is made for educational purposes and to spread awareness about animal care. Every scene you see is recreated using artificial intelligence and inspired by real-life stories. But the emotions, the lessons, and the meaning behind them are very real. Because stories like this happen every day, often unseen, often uncelebrated, and often ignored by a world that moves too fast to notice quiet heroes. Kindness is never wasted, even when it comes from someone who has very little. That is something society rarely teaches us. We grow up believing that only those with wealth can make a difference, that only the powerful can change outcomes. But the truth is very different. Sometimes the purest kindness comes from empty pockets and tired hands. Sometimes the people who give the most are the ones who have the least to lose, yet choose to give anyway. Imagine an old man walking slowly, his clothes worn, his steps heavy, carrying the weight of years and loneliness. He does not own much, no big house, no savings, no one waiting for him at home. The world passes him every day without a second glance. To most people, he is invisible, but to one small, frightened animal, he becomes everything. The connection between humans and animals is deep and meaningful. It goes beyond words, beyond logic, beyond reason. Animals do not care about your status, your past, or your bank account. They care about how you treat them in their most vulnerable moment. When fear is all they know, kindness becomes a language they instantly understand. When you save a life, that life remembers you, not in words, but in loyalty, trust, and silent gratitude. Animals never forget the hands that chose mercy instead of neglect. They never forget the voice that spoke softly when the world was loud and cruel. And sometimes that bond becomes stronger than anything built on blood alone. A person's worth is not measured by what they own, but by what they are willing to sacrifice to protect the weak. This is something we often forget in a world obsessed with success and status. True dignity does not come from comfort, it comes from courage, from choosing to help when it would be easier to walk away, from standing up for someone who cannot stand up for themselves. An old man may be poor in money, but rich in heart. And that kind of wealth can never be taken away. It shows in the way he shares his last piece of food, in the way he gives warmth instead of turning his back, in the way he sees value in a life others consider worthless. If this message already speaks to you, take a second right now and support the channel. Like this video and subscribe to Logic Unlocked. It helps us share more stories that matter, stories that remind us what being human truly means. Your support keeps these lessons alive and reaching people who need them most. Hope can grow even in the darkest and most isolated places. Sometimes it grows in abandoned streets, cold corners, and forgotten spaces. Sometimes it grows where no one expects it to survive. And when hope appears there, it shines brighter than anywhere else. Never give up, because light always comes after the darkest moments. Every night, no matter how long, eventually gives way to morning. Pain does not last forever. Fear does not win forever. And kindness, even when it seems small, has a way of surviving against all odds. Family is not defined by blood or by species. Family is not just who you were born to. Family is who stays when things fall apart. Family is who chooses you again and again without being asked. Sometimes family has 4 legs, a tail, and eyes that look at you like they are your entire world. Family is those who stand with you during hard times and stay with you during good times. It is built through shared struggle, silent understanding, and mutual trust. And once that bond is formed, it cannot be broken by poverty, distance, or time. In a harsh world, compassion is the only fire that keeps us warm. When everything else feels cold, mercy becomes shelter. When life feels heavy, kindness becomes strength. And when the world feels cruel, empathy becomes resistance. When you give everything to save a life, the universe often gives back much more. Not always in money, not always in comfort, but in purpose, meaning, and quiet moments that remind you that your existence matters, that your choices matter, that you made a difference even if no one was watching. This is what Logic Unlocked stands for. Not just logic, but humanity. Not just thinking, but feeling. Stories like this are reminders that the world does not change through loud voices alone, but through silent acts of courage repeated every day by ordinary people. So the next time you feel small, remember this. The next time you think your kindness doesn't matter, remember this. The next time you see someone weaker than you, human or animal, remember that you have a choice, and that choice can change everything. If this story touched you, let us know in the comments. Share your thoughts, your experiences, or a moment when kindness changed your life. And if you believe this message should reach more people, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Because every life matters, and sometimes saving one life is enough to change the world.